Hi everyone, and welcome to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. Sarah here today, and I am going to be making a card with the Lean on Each Other stamp and die set along with the bold background vintage rose honey cuts. I love this one. I had a little problem, you'll see. I didn't pay close attention, and so I'm going to sit here and cut these out. And I'll set this off to the side here in just a second, but I love the way this cuts out. And I also thought after doing it this time that it would be really good to maybe have an adhesive sheet on the back of this. I'm going to try it and we'll see. I don't try it in this video, but on my next card, I think I'm going to try putting adhesive sheet on the back so it's easier to adhere to the front of a card. I'm going to go through and pull out the pieces like I did right there for the flowers. And I'm going to go ahead and run those through and cut them. And I will sit these off to the side because I'm going to go ahead and cut out some more. Now, this is where the problem came in, is I did not pay attention close enough to see how many pieces I needed to cut out. So you'll see me cut again later on in the video because I did not cut out all the pieces I needed to. That was on me. That was just me not paying attention. Not well enough, at least. So I'm going to cut a few more out. This is just one of the little pieces to go on another one. So I went ahead and cut that out and made sure I had the smaller flower. These are also the little light edges that go on there. Now this one is for the center of the flowers, and I cut plenty of those out. I actually cut a few too many of those out, and that's okay. That's not a big deal. I'll keep them and use them anyways on another card. So I went ahead and went through and cut a bunch of these. And I have inks and everything that I will use as well with this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that away. And I pulled out my glass board. I am punching out all the inside pieces. And me personally, I think next time I may leave those little pieces. It keeps the small skinny pieces of the vines and the leaves a little more stable. So I might keep those in next time. I'm going to try a few different things this next time I make another one. Right now I am using Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide. I'm trying to darken up bits and pieces of the leaves, the base of the leaves, the viney area where they will actually be joining together and everything. I just wanted a little more shadow. And then I'll go back in on top of it with a little bit of crushed olive distressed oxide and just add a little more variation in color. They end up blending down really nice with each other anyway, so it works out just fine. I had pulled out two purples here, and here I'm trying to figure out how to put them together. And I'm just making sure I know, like right there, I realized I was missing a piece and I stuck it back there and was like, oh, okay. But it took me a second to realize how to put them together. I wasn't wanting to stick my head in the way of the camera either. But I did get them together and they work out perfectly fine. If you actually look at them, it's got the grooves and everything in it where it shows you exactly how to put the flowers together. So I make sure I get it together where I want it, and then I'm going to start messing with the inks again. I'm going to be using Distress Oxide and Dusty Concord to darken up my purple because I did choose a lighter purple cardstock because I knew I wanted to use the inks to darken it up. The ink actually dries down a little bit and lightens the color some, so it's not as dark as you see it right here. I mean, it stays pretty potent, but it's not as dark. Here you see me laying them on top of each other, making sure I have them where they need to be, and I start putting some glue. And I am not gluing them completely flat. I am gluing them just kind of where they need to connect, and then you can actually pull them up a little bit and give them some more texture. I went ahead and inked the bottom side of the center of the flower and glued it in. And here I'm doing, I guess what you would call the highlights, the parts of the leaves that are folded up from the outside where they would get more light. I'm going ahead and adhering those down in the places that they need to be as well. They're right on the outsides of some of the petals, and they're just so pretty. I just continue to repeat the process through all of this, darkening up the edges, the bottom edge of the center of the flower, and then the inside parts of the flower as well that would be darker, and then adding the highlighted areas on the outside. Here I'm going ahead and adding the center to that one, and I'll set it to the side. And this is one of the buds. And I sat it down to see what I thought. of where it was and how it would work. And then I also go ahead and add the green tinting to the bottom of it because I do know I'd want it darker. And I add them together and I start sitting pieces on top of that. I did not glue it yet, but I also realized I'd probably add a little more of the purple on the buds the next time. And that's when I start to realize, hey, I didn't cut out enough flowers because there's 3 buds and I only had 2. So after I go ahead and adhere all of these together, you see me sitting them on top of the flower. And that is really when I realized, oh, I really, really like this. It's gorgeous. But I'm realizing that I did not have enough of the smaller flowers or of the buds. I'm missing one of each. So I was going to go ahead and finish up what I already had cut out before I went ahead to pulling out anything else to move on with the project. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one back together. And like I said, I'm only gluing at one portion of it. That way I can add some more dimension on the card if I decide I want to. I'm adding the highlighted areas, and it looks like a very big contrast right now between the light areas and the dark areas. But like I said, it does dry back. Anybody that uses distress oxides, you do know it does dry back. So it's not quite as vibrant as it is right here. So I will finish up this one in the highlighted areas, and I will go ahead and set this all aside and pull out my papers again, cleaning up my little area. Grab my Sizzix back out, and I'm grabbing the pieces that are used for the florals that I actually need. The little green piece for the bud, that's what that one is right there. And then the other few pieces for the medium-sized flower. And I'll go ahead and put those pieces back over on that. And then I'm going to start inking again. I know what I want and I know how I want them to look now, so I'm not taking as much time as I did with like the first one. So I went ahead and inked those, and I'm grabbing the yellow piece. Like I said, I had plenty of those. I'm going to clean up my glass mat and then move everything over and start gluing again. I'm going to go ahead and add these as I'm going to sit them on there like I had been sitting the rest of them on there. And I'm going to continue on with that until I got them all done, and then I will start actually gluing them down. Now this part is really easy, not a big deal, nothing like that. And honestly, gluing the green part down, the part with all the leaves and everything, is not a big deal. You'll see, I'll put it in my hand here in a second, and I will start adding glue to it. But I'm going to try different ways, I think, this next time. And I know I've seen this cut apart and all sorts of stuff. Now here is where I chose the base of my card. And I thought I was going to use that darker teal. Instead, I went with this really light colored blue. And I pulled out Distress Oxide and Salvaged Patina and Peacock Feather. And right now, I'm going in pretty far with the Salvaged Patina. I'm just leaving a small area in the center that's just the original cardstock color. And then I'm going around the very edge with this Peacock Feather, and I'm just darkening it up. And they blend well, and they dry down together really well in the end as well. I went ahead and rubbed over it with my rag, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and add the adhesive to the back of this. But there's so many small little parts, it makes it a little harder to lay it down completely straight, and maybe it's just me. Maybe after I've done it a couple times, it won't be that big of a deal. And it really wasn't. As you see, I just laid it down and I'm going ahead and pushing it down. I'm adding a little more adhesive to a couple of the little spots that I didn't add enough to when I had it in my hand. And it turns out perfectly fine. I have no complaints. It looks gorgeous. Here is where I pulled out the Lean on Each Other stamp set. And I am trying to figure out which stamps I want to use. And yes, I said stamps because I'm going to use 2. I pulled out some white cardstock. This is heavyweight cardstock. And I am going to stamp with my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And I just have to do it once. They worked out perfectly. But I did 2 different sayings. I did friendship is the love you choose. And on the inside, I'm using that second one for on the inside, and it says, I will always love you for choosing me. I thought it was cute, just a good friendship card, something to send to somebody that you appreciate and that you're just wanting to let them know you appreciate them. So that's what I did. I went ahead and grabbed that darker color that I had started out with for my base, and pulled that and made that actually my card base all together. And I'm going to add some good adhesive here on the back. And I'm going to adhere this down to my card base. I didn't want the inside of the card to be white. So here you'll see me put the friendship is the love you choose. I'm messing around with it to make sure I got it where I want it. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that on the front of the card. Just a little bit of adhesive and it sticks down great. And then this one, I'm just going to go ahead and glue on the inside of my card. And then that just finishes out for me. I really hope that you enjoyed this process. And make sure to check out the ScrapbookPal website so that you can see all the beautiful things that are coming into this shop. And make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube so that you're notified when anybody uploads to the channel and you can see the beautiful process videos that they add. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye!